Hello, welcome to Let the Light In TV. I'm Craig here with you today. We're talking about the Fujifilm X-F33mm f1.4 lens. Now this is an APS-C format lens for the Fuji X mount camera. I personally used it on the X-H2. And the price of this lens is going to come in at $799 US. So let's talk about the build quality. First thing as always, it is an all metal lens barrel construction. It is built to resist dust, to resist moisture, and it will operate in temperatures as low as 14 degrees Fahrenheit. Now it has an aperture range of 1.4 to 16. It also has an auto aperture setting, and it is a clickable aperture ring. And to get it to turn to the auto setting, all you have to do is just push down that red button, because it does have a hard stop at f16. So just push down that red button and you'll be able to click it over into auto aperture. It does have a smooth rotation for both the focus and the aperture ring. The aperture ring, as already mentioned, as just mentioned, is clickable, but the focus ring is nice and smooth rotation all the way around, completely 360 degree, and you can just keep on going. It has an accurate and quiet autofocus system, and the sharpness of this lens is really fantastic. I mean, check out the fur in this shot here on the cat. The detail in there that it pulls out is incredible. Now, in general, the autofocus performance was good. However, for example, in this particular shot, you'll see that there are some ducks in the river, and they're kind of being framed by the branches of the trees. And rather than the ducks being in focus, unfortunately, it's the tree branches being in focus. Now, perhaps that's a bit of an error on the focal length being used in this particular shot, but I believe I did have the X-H2 on bird setting, so the fact that it didn't pick that up is disappointing. Focus pull test, let's take a look. You'll notice that whenever it's pulling from the farthest object, which is that green kind of palm plant in the background, to the potted cactus plant in the foreground, you'll notice whenever it pulls from all the way from the background to the foreground, what happens is it'll come all the way to that potted plant and it'll kind of almost be in focus, and then it just has like that last little step. It's like one more little step that it takes. And so it's not a completely smooth transition, which is it's disappointing, but it's really the most noticeable when you're switching from the background to the foremost front ground subject. And so the fact that that's not a smooth transition all the way is disappointing. Minimum focus distance is 11.8 inches. Focus breathing, we'll go back to the same clip here. Look at this time in particular, the front right of the shelving unit, and you'll notice as it goes back and forth, it's actually very minimal, the amount of focus breathing. So you just look at the right side of the shelving, and you'll notice that there's a white little gap that will appear. It's really not a whole lot that noticeable though. So it's very minimal focus breathing. Chromatic aberrations, as you can see in this shot here, are very controlled. This lens does a wonderful job in dealing with chromatic aberrations. Lens flares are as well very controlled. You can see it's a great performance here. The sun star, as you dial down to f16, it's not a super crisp or super defined sun star. I find that whenever it's dealing with the sun and it's dealing with flares, it actually gives it quite a soft look. And so if that is something that you prefer, then you are really going to enjoy this about this lens. The flares are soft, they're not super harsh, and I believe it controls, in my opinion, controls it very nicely. I don't mind that soft look at all. So, all right, so let's talk about my personal experience in using this lens and begin to wrap everything up here. First of all, the wide aperture of f1.4 means it's going to be a great lens for a wide variety of lighting conditions. You'll be able to use it in darker conditions as well, and it will perform just fine. The detail, the level of sharpness that it is able to provide is excellent. Now, the flaws overall in this lens, there's like a couple, but they're very minimal. I mean, chromatic aberrations are very, very controlled. It's near perfect. It looks wonderful. The focus breathing, again, is minimal as well. The lens flares are very minimal. So it does have a little bit of flaws here and there, but they're so minimal that I think you'll be very happy if you do purchase this lens. Aberrations, low. Lens flares, not harsh, but they're rather controlled and soft. Focus breathing is super minimal. So all of these things put together, it performs very well in each and every single category. So if you would like to purchase this lens, then the link is down below. There's a variety of links, B&H, Amazon, as well as the link that's titled Best Price here. It'll kind of auto search out and see if any sales are available for you. All right, that is it. The Fujifilm X-H2 33mm f1.4. Fantastic lens. It's got great colors, great sharpness, great detail. A couple misses with the autofocus, a little bit of focus breathing, but overall this put in a fantastic performance. There you go. I hope that it was informative for you today. Take care and remember to let the light in.